Welcome to my channel, where we'll dive into the unexpected twists and turns of real-life stories. In today's video, we're shining a light on a dark and tragic aspect of the NFL. Players who, despite their athletic prowess, became entangled in the world of murder, prepared to be gripped by the narrative of these individuals whose journeys took a deadly turn, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. We'll dive into the motives, circumstances, and repercussions of their actions, offering insight into the complexities of human nature. Don't forget to subscribe. Prayers to the family.
What happens when a moment of reckless disregard for the law turns into a fatal mistake? Let's delve into a case that rocked the sports world and tore apart two families. In the early hours of a fateful day, former Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III made a decision that would change his life and end another. Behind the wheel of his 2020 Corvette, Ruggs allegedly drove at speeds exceeding 150 miles per hour through the streets of Las Vegas. His blood alcohol level? A shocking 0.16%, double Nevada's legal limit. As Ruggs's car sped through the city, it collided with a RAV4 SUV driven by a young woman named Tina Tintor. The force of the impact was such that Tintor's car burst into flames, trapping her inside. Despite the best efforts of first responders, they were unable to save her. Tragically, Tintor, aged just 23, died at the scene. Autopsy results later revealed she succumbed to thermal injuries, with contributing factors including inhalation of combustion products and multiple fractures. Ruggs's passenger, YouTube vlogger Rudy Washington, was also severely injured in the crash. Meanwhile, Ruggs himself walked away relatively unscathed, at least physically. In the aftermath of the crash, Ruggs was charged with multiple felonies, including driving under the influence resulting in death, driving under the influence resulting in substantial bodily harm, and 2 counts of reckless driving resulting in death or substantial bodily harm. In the court of public opinion, he was found guilty almost immediately. His team, the Las Vegas Raiders, released him mere hours after the incident. Ruggs posted bail and now awaits the outcome of his case under house arrest. If found guilty, he could face up to 40 years in prison. The once promising NFL star now faces a future defined by the worst decision of his life. Tintor's family, meanwhile, is left to grapple with a devastating loss. As Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson put it, they are torn apart, mourning their loss, grieving, and angry. In summary, this tragic incident serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of driving under the influence. A young woman lost her life, another person was seriously injured, and a promising football career was abruptly ended. As we reflect on this case, remember the profound impact our decisions can have on ourselves and others.
Imagine an unsolved mystery, a cold case that's been lying dormant for 15 years, only for it to spring back into life with a shocking revelation. This is the story of former University of Miami football player Rashaun Jones, who, on August 19, 2024, found himself arrested in Ocala, Florida, charged with the murder of his teammate from a decade and a half ago. Let's transport ourselves back to November 7th, 2006. Brian Sidney Pata, a young man of 22 years, was found fatally shot in the head in the parking lot of a Miami apartment complex. Pata was physically much larger than Jones, and it was alleged that Pata had previously beaten Jones in a physical altercation. This altercation seemed to have left a lasting impact, a simmering grudge that refused to die down. 2 months before this tragic incident, prosecutors claimed that Pata had confided in his brother, Edwin, about a chilling threat. Jones had allegedly threatened to shoot Pata in the head. Edwin pleaded with Pata to report the incident, but Pata refused, only to be later found dead of a gunshot wound. Jones, during the initial investigation, maintained his innocence. He claimed he never left his home the day of the shooting. The district attorney, however, presented a different narrative. According to them, cell phone records and an eyewitness allegedly placed Jones near the scene of the crime. For years, the case went cold. The threads of evidence seemed to lead nowhere, and the mystery of Brian Sidney Pata's death remained unsolved. But time has a way of shedding light on the darkest of secrets. And 15 years later, the case experienced a breakthrough. Jones was arrested and charged with the murder of Pata. He has pleaded not guilty to these charges, and the case is now set to unfold in the court of law. So, we find ourselves at the crossroads of a 15-year-old mystery. A tale that started with a tragic death in a Miami parking lot. An initial investigation that seemed to point towards a former teammate. A cold case period that spanned over a decade. And finally, a breakthrough that has once again put this case under the spotlight. This narrative unfolds like a gripping thriller, but it's essential to remember the real lives affected by this tragedy. As the case progresses, one can only hope that justice will finally be served, and the truth about that fateful day in November 2006 will finally come to light.
In the annals of shocking crimes committed by famous personalities, one that stands out is the chilling case of Rae Carruth, a former star player of the National Football League's Carolina Panthers. The shocking part isn't just the crime he orchestrated, but the victim, his pregnant girlfriend, Cherika Adams. Rae Carruth's life seemed like a dream come true for any aspiring athlete. As a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, Carruth had a successful career in the NFL, playing from 1997 to 1999. He was living the American dream, but underneath this veneer of success lurked a sinister plot that would shock the nation. On a cold November night in 1999, a horrifying event unfolded on the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina. Cherika Adams, 8 months pregnant and the girlfriend of Carruth, was driving home after a movie date with him. Suddenly, Carruth's vehicle slowed down and another car pulled up beside Adams's. An assailant fired multiple shots into her car, critically wounding her. Despite her injuries, Adams managed to call 911 and narrate the terrifying event before falling into a coma. As Adams fought for her life in the hospital, Carruth, the man she loved and the father of her unborn child, fled the state. Days later, authorities apprehended him in Tennessee. The subsequent trial revealed a horrifying plot. Carruth had not just been aware of the attack, he had orchestrated it. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture of a man who wanted to avoid paying child support for his unborn child. They alleged that Carruth had hired a hitman, Van Brett Watkins, to murder Adams. A second accomplice testified, confirming that Carruth had indeed ordered the hit. The trial of Rae Carruth was a media spectacle, a shocking revelation of a successful athlete's descent into cold-blooded conspiracy. In 2001, the jury found Carruth guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, using an instrument with intent to destroy an unborn child and discharging a firearm into occupied property. But even in this dark tale, a ray of hope emerged. Adams passed away from her injuries a month after the attack, but doctors managed to save her son. Chancellor Lee Adams, born prematurely and with cerebral palsy due to the traumatic circumstances of his birth, survived. Rae Carruth served nearly 19 years in prison for his crimes. In October 2018, he walked out of prison a free man, but the scars of his actions remain. His son, Chancellor Lee Adams, lives on, a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the tragic legacy left by a man who once had everything and chose to throw it all away. In conclusion, the story of Rae Carruth serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences when fame, fortune, and misguided motives mix. It's a tale of a promising career ended by a heinous crime, a life lost too soon, and a child who survived against all odds. The aftershocks of this case continue to reverberate, a chilling reminder of the darkness hidden beneath the bright lights of fame.